All right, we're back at the lake here. I'm excited to bring you guys a little PLO action. We're in for our usual 300. Let's get into it. So first hand of the session, we're playing four-handed. We looked at ace, queen, 10-9, single suited to queen. There's an open to 20, and it folds to me in the big blind. We call 15 more, so we're going heads up to a flop. Flop comes 7-4-2 with two hearts, and when I check, he goes ahead and bets 30, and we fold. So here we're playing five-handed. We look down at king, queen, queen, 7, single suited to the queen on the button. We open to 20, and we take it down. So here we're up to six-handed. We look down at ace, ace, king, 4, single suited to the ace in middle position. We go ahead and open to 20, and we get one late position caller. So we're going heads up to a flop. Flop comes jack, 8, 7 with two spades. I go ahead and check. Late position player bets 30, and I decide to fold. All right, we're up to eight-handed, and we look down at king, jack, jack, 5, double suited in middle position. When it folds to me, I open to 20, then it folds to the button who makes it 70, and then it folds back to me. So here I wasn't really thinking about flatting. I was thinking about either four betting or folding, because I'm gonna have a lot of flops where I just have my overpair of jacks where it's gonna be a pretty awkward spot. So after thinking for a little bit, I decided to fold and pick a better spot. Let me know what you guys think. So here we look down at queen, jack, 10-4, double suited in the small blind. There's a middle position open to 20, folds to me. I go ahead and make the call, and big blind folds. So we're going heads up to a flop. Flop came 7-6-2 rainbow, and when I checked, he bet 30, and I decided to fold. So here we look down at ace, king, jack, 10, single suited to the king on the button. There's a middle position open to 20, folds to me. I go ahead and pot it to 70, folds back to the original raiser, who ends up folding, so we take it down. So here we look down at ace, jack, 4-4, double suited in late position. There's an early position open to 20. Player on my right calls. I go ahead and call. Blinds fold, so we're going three ways to a flop. Flop comes queen, 4-4, and the original raiser goes ahead and leads 40. The player to my right calls, and nothing to do here besides call. So we're going three ways to a turn. Turn comes a 7, and the player on my right bets 125. I Hollywood a bit to potentially induce a call from the original raiser, but of course I call. He folds, and we're going heads up to a river. River comes a deuce. I end up turning my hand over, and he says, "You're good," but he shows me pocket queen. So pretty sick hand there. Looks like he had one out, and happy to be on the good side of a cooler situation here. He asked me if I want to go once or twice. I pretty much always go once. I had a session a couple years ago where I went twice and ended up losing the second board every time. Since then, I pretty much only go once. I think the key with that is to just be consistent. I've seen some players decide to go twice at times and then they go once other times, and it's upset some people. I don't know, that's just kind of my thinking. I think you should just be consistent with it. I go about an hour real time after that quad fours hand without really playing much until I look down at 9-7-6-5 double suited in middle position. There's an early position open to 20. I call. One of the late position players calls, and the blind calls. So we're going four ways to a flop. Flop comes ace, queen, 4 with two clubs. When it checks to me, I check, and the late position checks, so we're going to a turn. Turn brings a 6 of diamonds, and the small blind player decides to lead for 35. Folds to me, I go ahead and make the call, and everyone else folds, so heads up to a river. River comes a 5, and he leads for 115. I think for a bit, but decide to fold. Here I look down at king, jack, 10-9, single suited to the king. I open up for 20, and everyone folds, so we take down the blinds. Here we look down at king, king, 10-2, single suited to the king in the small blind. There's a middle position open to 20. Folds to me, I go ahead and call, and the big blind calls. So we're going three ways to a flop. Flop comes 5-4-4 rainbow. After I check, it actually checks through, so we're going to a turn. Turn brings a jack, and I decided to bet 25, thinking I probably have the best hand here, and everyone folds, so we take it down. So we look down at queen, 10, 9-7, single suited to the queen in middle position. There's a limp ahead of me, I limp. Another limper behind, both blinds check, so we're going five ways to a flop. Flop comes king, 8-6 with two clubs. One of the early position players bets 15. Folds to me, I go ahead and make the call, so heads up to a turn. Turn comes a 4 of clubs, and when he checks, I decide to try to take a stab and bet 25, and he calls pretty quickly, so heads up to a river. River comes a queen, and when he checks to me, I decided to give up here. I don't know, I just don't have too much faith in trying to get people off a flush, even if it's a low flush, so I check. He goes ahead and turns his hand over, so he actually flopped a set, turned a 8-high flush, and I don't know, maybe in this particular case I could have probably got him to fold, but he takes it down. So here we look down at ace king 6-5, double suited under the gun. I go ahead and limp. There's a limper behind me. Middle position player makes it 25. Then the button and both blinds call. Back to me. So here are a couple of things to keep in mind. The player that raised it, he's been raising an awful lot today, and I think he's pretty wide here. So that plus the fact that there's 3 callers behind, and my hand's going to play pretty well, so I just decided to go for it. I pot it to 155. Player to my left is short stacked. He only has $200, so he pushes his stack, and then only one player behind calls, and I of course call. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes queen 5-2 with 2 diamonds, and of course one move for me to do. I go ahead and push my $60 in. He calls pretty quickly, so we're going 3 ways to a run out. Turn comes the king of diamonds. Pretty good card here for me, obviously. River brings a jack of hearts, and I turn over my hand, and of course we scoop. So pretty nice power taken in there. So here look down at ace king 10 single suited under the gun. I go ahead and open to 20 and folds back to the blinds, and they both call. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes ace 7-4 with 2 diamonds and checks over to me. I decide to pot it for 60, and only the small blind calls. So heads up to a turn. Turn brings a 6, and when he checks to me, I think for a little bit here, but I decided to check back. I put him on a lot of combo draws, which obviously a lot of those hit here, so I decided to check and evaluate a river. River brings a 3, so pretty bad card here now. Obviously a lot of combos are going to beat me. He decides to bet 40, which I think is a pretty good bet by him, because he knows that I know this board's not great. It's going to favor his range. So I ultimately pay him off, and he ends up turning over 7-7-6-5 with 2 diamonds. So don't really think I could have gotten him off the hand at any point. So saved a little money there on the turn by checking. So here we look down at 3-3-2-2 single suited in the big blind. There's a late limper, folds back to me, and I go ahead and check my option. We're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes 7-6-2 rainbow.
Quack, 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 quack.
When it checks to me, I decide to lead out for 20. We get 3 callers, so we're going 4 ways to a turn. Turn comes an ace, bringing in the backdoor flush, and if I had the best hand on the flop, I should still have the best hand here. So I go ahead, pot it to 105, and we get 1 caller, so we're going heads up to a river. River brings a 9, and my opponent only has about $80 left, and I decide to check, maybe giving him a shot to bluff at it, but he immediately checks back. We turn our hand over, and we're good, so we're taking it down. I play another couple of orbits after the set of deuces hand, don't really play much, and I decide to rack up. What's up guys, Wayne back here with you. So as a lot of my sessions do, I started out kind of slow today, basically just whiffed on every flop, or every hand I played at the beginning. I ended up getting on the good side of a cooler situation with the quad 4s over queens full, so that was definitely nice. And then after that, probably went about an hour real time without really playing much. I ended up with the 9-7-6-5 double suited. Looking back, I think I could have been a little bit more aggressive, on the turn there when I made a open-ended straight plus 2 flush draws. I think it would have been a pretty good spot to go ahead and put in the raise, but I decided to call. Ended up tank folding on the river when I made 2 pair, and I believe me being passive there might have played a little bit into the ace king 6-5 hand when I ended up limping under the gun. It ended up getting a raise to 25. There was 3 callers, and I don't know, a couple things there. That guy was opening a little wider today than he normally does, and there was 3 callers behind. I just felt like it was a good spot to go with it. Ended up almost tripling up on that. So definitely curious what you guys think of my play overall and that. And then at the end there, winning a little bit more with the set of deuces. So all in all, pretty good day. I was in for 300, out for 810, so a profit of 510. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe button. If your viewing experience could have been better, please let me know how down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.